Today we're going to be talking about exponents and the powers of 10. When you multiply tens together, like 10 times 10 times 10, the product is called a power of 10. You can use an exponent to show a power of 10. The exponent tells how many times to multiply 10 by itself. So we're going to discuss this a little bit more thoroughly with some examples. So we've already talked about this in class, but this is kind of a review. So for example, if I had the number 10 to the first power, meaning you have only one of them, equals 10. If I had 10 to the second power, or sometimes we say squared, that means it's 10 two times. So you write it 2 times and multiplied together. This is called the factor form. And then once we solve it, 10 times 10, that is equal to, or called the standard form, writing it in a standard form of a number. The exponent, again right here, this small number, stands for the number of times you multiply the number together. This is called the base number. That is the number that you actually are multiplying together. So let's try a different one. Let's go with a harder one just to see if you can do it or understand. So 10 to the 7th power. This means our base number is 10. It's the number we're going to be multiplying together. So how many times? 7 it says. So I need 10 times 10 times 10 times 10 times 10. That's 5 times 10 times 10. This is actually 10 to the 7th power. You and I know when we save the zeros that 1 times 1 is 1. And what ends up happening is I just count up all these zeros, and my standard form is going to be 1 with 7 zeros. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Is that 7? Yes, it is. So my standard form is actually 10 million. Now this is pretty incredible to know. So if you look back up here, 10 to the first power only had 1 zero, the standard form. 10 to the second power, the standard form had 2 zeros behind it. 10 to the 7th power has 7 zeros behind it. So this is just a clue to help you in the future. Okay, now let's do some practice problems when solving using powers of 10. So if I had a problem 204 times 10 to the 3rd power, or 10 cubed in some cases, when we'd solve that, that actually is the same as 204 times 10 times 10 times 10. When we did order of operations at the beginning of the year, we know that we do parentheses first, then exponents, multiplication and division from left and right, addition and subtraction from left and right. So I broke this exponent up into its expand or factor form, just to show you what it would look like. So now that I have this rewritten, I need to solve the parentheses here first. So 10 times 10 times 10 is actually 1,000. 10 times 10 being 100, and then times 10 is 1,000. So that is 204 times 1,000 now. And you and I know we can save these 3 zeros, and we can rewrite this problem, because 1 times 204 is 204, and then add the 3 zeros back, and the answer is going to be 204,000. So 204 times 10 to the 3rd power is 204,000. Let's try one more problem. If we have 38 times 10 to the 6th power. Now once again, I can rewrite it. So it's 10 times 10 times 10 times 10 times 10 times 10 times 10. So this is again called the factor form. And if you actually know that it's 10 to the 6th power, it would actually be 1 with 6 zeros. That's what that means, which is 1 million. 38 times 1 million would equal, save the zeros again, but you guys actually know 1 times any number, so it's actually 38 million. Now let's try some decimals. So the first decimal we're going to try is, let's do 5 8/10 times, let's do 10 to the 4th power. Now, we have learned in the past that when you multiply 10 times a decimal, it actually moves the decimal one place to the right. Obviously, the larger the number, so if it was 100, you move it 2 places to the right. When dividing, which we're not, we'd move it to the left. So when rewriting, once again, 5 8/10 times 10 times 10 times 10 times 10. This is the factor form again, which would be 5 8/10 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 10,000. Is what that equals. So if I'm going to move this decimal, when I multiply it by 10, it's going to move it 1 place to the right, 2 places to the right, 3 places to the right, 4 places to the right. So this will actually be, I'm going to show you, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is where my decimal should go. So the answer is going to be 58,000. 58,000. So just like we practiced before. Let's try another one. So let's try a number that has some hundredths in it. So let's do 13 and 72 hundredths times 10 squared. So again, 13 and 72 hundredths times, that's actually 10 times 10 in factor form. So that means I'm going to move the decimal spot 2 times to the right. So I don't really have to do this or I don't have to do times 100 here, but I can just to show you what it would look like. You might have to do that in the future. I might just tell you to show this step. But that actually is moving the decimal 2 spots. And if I do that 1, 2, then the answer is going to be 1,372. If you have any questions, please come see me during my office hours.